Stone Cold's heel run. When Austin returned in late 2000, it felt like he lost some of his momentum. Well, by the way, I said some, not all, and I'm talking about a kayfabe standpoint in storyline. Stone Cold was still the top face, but he was alongside The Rock, who did a lot when Stone Cold went out. Austin had a mediocre feud with Rikishi after it was revealed he ran over Austin. And then it transitioned into a feud with Triple H, as it was revealed he was the mastermind behind the attack on Steve Austin. Austin won the Royal Rumble to get a title shot at WrestleMania, and he continued his feud with Triple H. The two faced off in one of WWF or E's greatest matches ever in a 3 stages of hell match. Triple H won the match to end the feud. Like I said earlier, Austin lost some of his momentum. Austin, during that sit-down interview with The Rock and JR, said that he needs to win the match and that he needs to beat The Rock more than anything he could ever imagine. He needs to win the match and he needs to beat The Rock. He needs the win to get back on track, because if he lost and he's done, he will not be seen as the Texas Rattlesnake, the guy that is the man. He'll be seen as a man. At WrestleMania 17, The Rock defended the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin in a no disqualification match. The announcement for the no DQ match was made right when the match was about to begin. During the match, Mr. McMahon came out and helped Stone Cold. Stone Cold didn't care and used a chair to destroy The Rock and win his 5th WWF Championship. Stone Cold then shook hands with the chairman, signaling a partnership between the two and ending the Attitude Era. Austin would side with the man that tried to make his life a living hell. The next night on Raw, Stone Cold defended the title against The Rock in a cage match. Austin retained the title, and after the match, McMahon and Austin ganged up on The Rock until Triple H came out. The game was looking for a fight. He was basically going to turn face and knock down Austin and continue his feud with them. Triple H then drilled The Rock instead with the sledgehammer and teamed up with Stone Cold to form the 2-man power trip. Stone Cold even attacked JR during this time, saying that he thought JR didn't like his friendship with him. Oh, and Austin also attacked Michael Cole like a month later. Triple H won the Intercontinental Championship from Chris Jericho and then lost it to Jeff Hardy, but he won it back later that week. Two would brutalize the Hardy Boys and Lita 2 weeks in a row. They even assaulted Lita. Who would even do that? It was crazy at the time. Which would lead to the start of a feud between the 2-man power trip and the Brothers of Destruction, who came out to save Lita on an episode of Raw. The 2-man power trip faced the Brothers of Destruction in a winner-take-all match for the Intercontinental Championship, the WWF Championship, and the WWF Tag Team Championships. At Backlash, the 2-man power trip won the tag titles. Austin completed his heel turn by changing his entrance music later on, like a few months later. The music matched his personality at the time, as he was paranoid about someone taking his title. Stone Cold defended the championship against The Undertaker at Judgment Day. Before the pay-per-view, a rumor spread around that The Undertaker's wife Sarah was involved in a car accident. Undertaker found out nothing happened, and The Undertaker started to search for who did it. It ended up being Stone Cold Steve Austin, who made the phone call. Austin showed such a sadistic side to him during his build-up. During the build-up to the main event, Undertaker went after Austin and threw him into a window, which led to that funny segment in the ambulance. Austin and Undertaker swapped roles for this one, as Undertaker was the face and Austin was the heel this time. Austin retained his WWF Championship against The Undertaker at Judgment Day. The match was good, while Triple H, he faced Kane in a chain match for the IC title. Kane won the title after Austin accidentally knocked out Triple H with a steel chair. The next night on Raw, the 2-man power trip faced Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho in the greatest tag team match in WWE history. Before the match, Triple H said that he lost the Intercontinental Championship due to Austin, and then Austin has the WWF Championship because of Triple H. Austin didn't want to be talked to like that, so dissension was within the 2-man power trip. The match was so amazing, it was tremendous, it was golden, it was iconic, it was epic, and the crowd made it even better. They were loud throughout the whole entire match. Triple H injured his quadricep muscle during the match and finished the match. He finished the match. Say what you want about Triple H, but one thing, he is tough. He even took a Walls of Jericho from Chris Jericho on the announce table. Triple H accidentally hit Stone Cold in the stomach with a sledgehammer, and the 2-man power trip lost the tag team championships to Benoit and Jericho. On that week's SmackDown, Austin blamed him for hitting him with a sledgehammer, all that stuff. 2-man power trip was officially over. Stone Cold got a-hole chants at him. Now, I believe the reason Austin teamed up with the game was because it was better than having the game going against him and after his WWF title, even though the game ran him over a year and a half ago. So for Austin, it was paranoia once again, in my opinion. The original plan was to turn Triple H face and do the storyline like Kurt Angle, but with the game in his place instead. So Triple H would win it around around SummerSlam and Unforgiven. Good thing that didn't happen, in my opinion, as those Austin Angle matches were something else. Austin would continue his feud with Jericho and Benoit, with Austin facing the two in great singles matches. At King of the Ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin defended the WWF Championship against both Jericho and Benoit in a triple threat match. During the match, Booker T debuted and scissors kicked Austin and then sidewalk slammed Stone Cold through the announce table. Chris Benoit would hit a back suplex from the top rope on Chris Jericho, which broke Benoit's neck, which caused him to miss a year of action. Austin would retain the title. The WWF during this time would start the invasion angle. Austin would be annoyed by Kurt Angle, who was getting Mr. McMahon's attention. Austin was not keen on being involved in the fight, as he was told by McMahon to bring back the old Stone Cold to the invasion. Austin walked out and went to a bar. McMahon tried to beg Austin to come back, but to no avail. While the WWF were being attacked by WCW and ECW, Austin came back. It was the old Stone Cold. Austin stunned every WCW wrestler he could get his hands on, and he stunned every ECW wrestler too. So Team WWF was complete. Jericho, the Brothers of Destruction, Kurt Angle, and the Texas Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin. At Invasion, Kurt Angle locked in the ankle lock on Booker T and had the match won, but Austin kicked Angle in the face and then hit the stunner on him. Austin joined the Alliance. Austin turned heel for the first time in a week. Austin stated that the reason he joined the Alliance was because he was underappreciated by McMahon, who told Austin to become the old Stone Cold. And McMahon wanted The Rock to come back, so he went to a team where he was appreciated and was the leader. Austin on that week SmackDown interfered in Angle's WCW Championship match and nearly cost him the match, but Angle fought through and made Booker T tap out to win the WCW Championship in his hometown of Pittsburgh, PA. Angle lost the title on that week's Raw after Austin interfered, again handing Booker the title. Austin would be challenged by Kurt Angle to a match at SummerSlam for the WWF Championship. Austin accepted. Austin destroyed Angle's leg with a steel chair. The match at SummerSlam was legendary. It was tremendous. Austin would assault referees near the end of the match as he knew that he couldn't beat Kurt Angle. He tried the ring post, right hand, Stone Cold Stunner. He did everything. Angle hit the Angle Slam on Austin and had the match won when the WCW ref called for the bell and said that Austin was disqualified. Angle locked the referee in the ankle lock. Stone Cold was so paranoid that someone was going to take his title. It was amazing. The next night on Raw, Austin held some kind of ceremony when Kurt Angle came out in a milk truck and drenched the Alliance in milk. JR shouted, "Milkomania is running wild," and indeed it was. On that week's Raw, Stone Cold Steve Austin stole Kurt Angle's gold medals. On that week's SmackDown, Stone Cold threw Kurt Angle's gold medals into the Detroit River, the same place Austin and the Smoking Skull Championship belt were thrown 2 years beforehand. On the September 3rd episode of Raw, Kurt Angle kidnapped Stone Cold and took him next to a bridge. Angle threatened to throw Austin into the river if he was not given a WWF Championship match. Austin accepted the challenge and was thrown into a kiddie pool. In the weeks leading to Unforgiven, Austin threw Angle off the stage and pile-drived Angle on the concrete floor. Angle in his hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, captured the WWF Championship for the second time after making Stone Cold tap out. Angle celebrated in the ring with his friends and family. The reason why Angle won the championship at Unforgiven was because the pay-per-view was in his hometown and because the 9/11 tragedy happened less than 2 weeks earlier. Angle would be the most over wrestler in the WWF, even more over than The Rock. He was a hero. Kurt Angle would hold the title until the October 8th episode of Raw, where he lost it to Stone Cold Steve Austin after William Regal turned on Team WWF and Austin hit the stunner for the win. It's a very rare occurrence for the title to change hands on free TV. Stone Cold at this time would be paranoid once again that RVD would leave the Alliance and join Team WWF, and in turn taking his title from Rob Van Dam. In late 2001 was probably the most popular wrestler other than The Rock and Kurt Angle, even though he was a heel. RVD didn't really feel like a heel during this time. He was a tweener or something like that. A match was made for No Mercy, Stone Cold to defend the WWF Championship against Kurt Angle and Rob Van Dam in a triple threat match. In the weeks or week leading to the match, RVD's loyalty was questioned by Stone Cold, asking RVD if he's with him or against him. RVD on the Go Home show would 5-star frog splash Stone Cold instead of Angle, hinting that he's with Team WWF, as McMahon came out and did the RVD thing. At No Mercy, Stone Cold retained the title after hitting the stunner on RVD for the win. The next night on Raw, Mr. McMahon challenged Shane and Stephanie to a winner-take-all match at Survivor Series. Stone Cold obviously participated in the match. Alongside him were Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and Shane McMahon. On the October 29th episode of Raw, Shane faced Vince in a street fight. During the match, the WWF superstar that defected to the Alliance was revealed when Kurt Angle clocked 4 WWF superstars. It was Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has joined the Alliance. Since Mr. McMahon suffered an injury and was unable to compete in the match, his spot was given to the Big Show. If Shane's spot was given to someone else also, the only two that would slot in that role were Christian and Test. Those two wouldn't really belong in the match, but that was all the Alliance had that could have fit in the matchup. I would have said DDP, but by this time DDP was way beneath the main event, let alone the mid-card scene. But then again, Shane did fit in the matchup as those two had other stuff to do during the event. Anyways, I love the match. It was amazing. It felt like a finale. It was good. The final two guys were two WWF guys, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. The two battled until Jericho interfered and nearly cost Team WWF the match as he attacked The Rock. Stone Cold hit the stunner on The Rock. Austin tried waking up the sleepy Earl Hebner when Kurt Angle clocked Stone Cold, which led to The Rock hitting The Rock about Austin to win it all for Team WWF. The Alliance is dead due to the damn mole Kurt Angle. Mr. McMahon went on stage and raised his arms in victory. The next night on Raw was very different. It felt like the beginning of a new era. It felt like a small era. Obviously, it was the post-invasion era. Jerry Lawler returned after 9 months. Kurt Angle claimed to be a hero as he started to go around the locker room telling The Rock that he should thank him for saving Team WWF, and going up to Edge later on telling him that he saved his job. Edge replied by saying that his Intercontinental Championship and his WCW US title saved him. Later on, McMahon told Angle that he'll reward him for his right doing last night. The two came out at the end of the show and McMahon was about to crown Angle their new WWF champion, even though the current champ was Stone Cold, the same man who was yet to show up to the arena. McMahon said that as he is the sole owner of the WWF, he's going to then burn it. Wait a minute. It's the Nature Boy Ric Flair. What the hell is he doing here? Ric Flair then said that when Shane and Stephanie sold their stock to the consortium, that he was the consortium. So Ric Flair then said that he and McMahon were limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, willy dealing, son of a guns. They're partners. Flair then put his arm around McMahon, who looked shocked as he finally rested from all that mess last night, and he had a new issue. JR reacted to the news shouting, "Oh my God." McMahon scratched his ear in happiness as he wanted to split 50-50, so he's excited, you know. Stone Cold's music then played and Austin went right after Angle with punches, stomps, all that, but McMahon got involved and got stomped and punched. The two fled the ring while a stare down between Ric Flair and Stone Cold ensued. Stone Cold grabbed the WWF Championship from Flair's shoulder, continuing his reign, effectively turning face once again. Finally, the heel run is over. Now, don't get me wrong, the heel run was kind of good, but Stone Cold as a fan favorite is way better. Stone Cold's heel turn marked the very end of the Attitude Era and made a lot of viewers stop watching WWF. For me, the run was pretty good, but face Austin was a million times better. Austin had amazing match after amazing match during this period. This was definitely his best in-ring run since '97. The character of Austin during this run was someone who was funny at times. He was freaking paranoid. He was so paranoid. You know how he got ran over at Survivor Series? Well, I think in the story, that's why he's paranoid. He's afraid someone will take his title and his spot in the company and will do anything to regain that spot or retain it, even signing with the men he hates the most in Triple H and McMahon. Like I said, Austin's heel turn marked the end of the Attitude Era, while his face turn marked the post-invasion era. This was the time period where Austin started saying what all the time. Austin would bring back the iconic entrance song on the November 26th episode of Raw. Austin would be involved in the undisputed title matches at Vengeance. Austin defeated Angle in the first match to retain the WWF Championship, but lost the second to Chris Jericho after Booker T interfered and cost Austin the match, making Jericho the only man to beat both The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin on the same night, and the first undisputed champion. Austin from there would be involved in a fun mini feud with Booker T, with the two meeting each other in a damn supermarket and in church. It was crazy stuff. Austin would start a feud with NWO. Austin faced Scott Hall in a match at WrestleMania and defeated. Austin expressed dissatisfaction with the company for putting him in a lower card match at WrestleMania, and he didn't like the direction the company was heading at the time. On the June 10th episode of WWE Raw, they changed the name in May 2002, Stone Cold was scheduled to face Brock Lesnar in a King of the Ring qualifying match, with Brock Lesnar set to defeat Austin just like that. Austin was opposed to the idea of Brock Lesnar defeating him with no build-up and on free TV, as there was a lot of money to be made with Austin facing off against the blue chipper, the Rookie. Austin walked out on the company. Austin was in a feud at the time of his departure with the returning Eddie Guerrero, who returned 2 months earlier. This feud might have done wonders to Eddie, but it wasn't to be. Eddie made it to the top of the WWE anyways regardless. And next week, The Rock returned after 3 months out, filming some movie, probably The Rundown, which was released in September 2003, instead of Austin, who they were teasing the entire episode. The Rock said that Austin could take his ball and go home. The Rock threw a beer can at Mr. McMahon. That's all. Austin would not appear at all for the rest of 2002. But from the fans' perspective, he was missed, as a lot of t-shirts were purchased from Shop Zone even though he walked out a few weeks beforehand. Austin was on the Vengeance cover and was removed with Edge replacing him. The WWE removed everything involving Austin from .com. In late 2002, JR sent Austin a card in the mail saying if he wanted to talk, then he's here. Austin called JR and talked with him for 2 hours and eventually got in touch with Vince. The two buried the hatchet in some hotel room, and Austin returned on the February 10th episode of Raw. By the way, the return was after the show, so it wasn't officially the return. Austin made his official return at No Way Out 2003, pummeling Eric Bischoff before facing his greatest rival at WrestleMania 19, paying the favor back to The Rock by losing to him and riding off into the sunset as an in-ring competitor. Austin later that year became the co-general manager of Raw along with Eric Bischoff, and on the last episode of 2003 became the sheriff. Now, imagine if Austin never retired. He'd for sure battle all of Evolution. Like, good God. Imagine Austin versus Evolution. It would have been amazing. An Austin HBK rematch in 03, that would have been so great. Anyways, make sure you hit the Stone Cold Stunner on the like button, and make sure to subscribe. Peace out.